In this session, Apprentices for Engineers, we'll learn from expert engineers and manufacturers and get questions answered about apprenticeships. Our guest speakers joining us today will tell us their career story and share their experiences, and then we'll invite you, the audience, to ask some questions. My name is Kath and I'll be hosting this session. We are hoping to support students to make informed decisions about their future by offering career lessons, guidance and tips. We want to open up the dialogue about alternative career routes to get to where you need to be. Apprenticeships may well be a suitable pathway for you, and we will explore this further today. For now, sit back and enjoy listening to our speakers, make some notes and ask all your burning questions. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to both our speakers today for coming along and sharing their experiences with us. Matthew Walton and Jan Zurawski. We are really keen to hear from both of you, but we'll start with you, Matthew. Matthew is a production manager at Essentra Packaging, and I shall just let you take over and tell us all about your apprenticeship story, Matthew.
Okay, thank you, Kath, and good afternoon to everyone. My journey started as an apprentice when I left school, which back in the late 1980s, you did that when you were 16. I know that's not the case anymore because I've got a son who's still doing his A-levels and he's nearly 18. So back then, you at 16, you left school and you went into an apprenticeship. So that involves learning the trade that you're going into. I know this is about engineering, but I went into print, which has got some engineering aspects to that. And I did some learning at college via block release, which is 2 or 3 months at college, and then you go back into the workplace and try and transfer those skills that you've learned into your role and into your job. So that is still, obviously COVID has taken a bit of a hit on how we do that now, but at the moment, with the apprentices that we've got at Essentra at the moment, they are doing their learning on site, where the tutor comes to speak to them on site on a one-to-one basis. But that's mainly due to COVID, so that that's the reason for that. So after I did my apprenticeship, I then worked my way through the department. So Essentra Packaging produces pharmaceutical cartons and leaflets on this particular site. So this site that I'm based at is in Bradford. So we do, for example, if you got a carton of Lemsip, we would produce that carton and would also produce the leaflet that goes inside it that gives you all the information about how to take it, side effects, etc., etc. So it's very, the information has to be very precise. So you have to, everything that should be on that leaflet has to be exactly how the customer wants it. For example, if they wanted a 10 milligram dosage of the drug and we printed 100 milligram, then obviously that's a big issue. So it's all about attention to detail and doing things how the customer wants it and following processes. So yeah, after working my way up through the company, I went through various changes and the employment structure changed a little bit, but I got to the point now where I am a production manager. So I have 40 people who I look after directly, and there's about 200 people who work on site. So that point where I am now has come directly from being an apprentice. So there is scope to work through. One of the benefits of the apprenticeship system is you're working through you're not starting at the bottom really. You're starting at a sort of mid to low level entry, but then you're trying to work your way up by hard work in the workplace really, and being noticed in that arena. So through my career, there's been a lot of learning opportunities with Essentra. Essentra are very good at looking after their employees, and they encourage growth. So there's a lot of, for example, continuous improvement training, health and safety training. There's a lot of training that you can pick up along the way. So once you've done your apprenticeship, it doesn't end there. So it's not a matter of, yeah, I've done my apprenticeship, I've got my job, that's my learning over. It's far from it. That's a continual journey all the way. That never ends. I'm still learning now, and I'll be 50 soon. So the learning journey never ends all the way through your career. So just because you've done your apprenticeship and you think, oh, I've come out of my time, as we call it now, when people have done their exams and passed them, hopefully, and then they've gone into the workplace and out of time, that doesn't mean the end of the learning. That's just the start, and then it keeps on going all the way through your working life. So, I mean, when we have apprentices at the moment, we have 6 apprentices on site, and there's certain things that you look for in apprentices, which, if you look, the main thing that you look for when you get an influx of apprentices is the CV. So it's very important that CV stands out a little bit. The things that I look for on CVs are a level of education, although in my opinion that's not the be all and end all, because some people are built and are happy to do exam work, and some people are more with their hands and mechanically minded. So that's not critical, but what you're looking at is trying to get people who've got some sort of work experience. For example, we had one of our apprentices who we brought into the company this year has spent a bit of time doing bricklaying, which, you know, is a very hands-on trade. So it proves that, you know, the guy wanted he was capable of laying bricks, obviously, but it showed an appetite for learning, and showed an appetite for trying to better himself. So you're looking for things like that. So, you know, if work experience is an option, or maybe a part-time job while you're studying, things like that add to the CV and make it more appealing for employers. And there's quite a lot of things that you can do which require zero talent. So that there's a lot of things that you can, in an interview situation, if you can try and get things across that require zero talent, such as being on time, for example, punctuality. If you turn up late for your interview, that's not a good start. There's a good chance it's not going to go anywhere. So if you're due to go to an interview at, say, 9 a.m. and you come at 10 past, that's not going to end well. I pretty much guarantee that, because employers are looking for punctuality. They're looking for people to make an effort. So you've got to make an effort into, you know, in how you dress, for example. If you turn up for an interview and you know, scruffy, you've got to make an effort in your appearance. We're looking for attitudes. You know, a positive attitude costs nothing. It requires zero talent to have a positive attitude. And the same for a passion. You've got to try and portray that you've got a passion for what you want to do. If you can try and get things like that across in the interview situation, you've got a very good chance, in my opinion, of getting to the next level and getting that apprenticeship. I think that's about 8 minutes, Kath.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's I've got a couple of questions for you, but I will leave them until we hear from Jan. So, Jan, you are currently a junior civil engineer at Hitachi ABB. You've fairly recently completed an apprenticeship. So, do you want to tell us your journey to that and how you've ended up in your role today? That would be very good. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jan Zurawski. I'm 23, just turned. So I finished my apprenticeship a year and a half ago. I started when I was 17 on a 4-year apprenticeship. So the way that was structured, I'll go back in time in a minute, but the way that was structured, it was a 4-year apprenticeship with a 2-year, not a block release, but it was a day release, 2 days a week, doing a BTEC in engineering, as well as a level 2 course in electrical wiring, because it was an electrical engineering apprenticeship to begin with. After the 2 years, we got to decide. We were meant to go down the electrical engineering route, but I spoke to my managers because I found the civil construction side more interesting. So since that was a lacking skill in our department, the company decided to sponsor me through my Bachelor of Engineering and Civil Engineering at Derby University, and that's on a day release again. So the companies do want you to constantly improve your skills, especially when to their clients it's a required thing to be certified, especially as an engineer. So companies that you do want to do apprenticeships in, they will try to encourage you to not just do the bare minimum, but also to tell them how you want to progress. I've done courses in site management, in project management, health and safety. So anything that you want to do, if you make a good business case for it as to why it improves you and the business, they do tend to agree and help you down the line. How I got into the apprenticeship in the first place, actually, I'm not really sure how the A levels are set out now, because I think they changed since I've done them. But I finished my AS levels, so your first year of your A levels, and after I got my results, which were all right, I got a message from a friend of my parents saying that there's an apprenticeship opening in a company near me in engineering, which is what I wanted to study at university anyway. So I decided to apply and just to keep my options open, and just go to the interview and have a look at what they're going to be. Have a look at what they're going to make available to me. So I passed the interview and I got offered the job. So I decided to leave school, full-time education, and pursue the apprenticeship route. At A levels, which I think helped me with an engineering apprenticeship anyway, I did maths, physics, and chemistry. I think I got 2 Bs and a C at AS level. But that's not really what was required, because it was a apprenticeship that starts after your GCSEs. So they were looking for maths and English competencies, as well as I spoke to my line manager about what else they were looking for during the interview process. And they're saying problem solving skills were really important for engineering, as well as and previous work experience, like Matthew mentioned as well. It really does make you stand out from everyone else that's applying. So anywhere that's it doesn't even need to be in the sector you want to move into in the end, but anything that makes you look like you are looking for what you want to do, you are looking for that knowledge and that experience, it does make you stand miles out above everyone else. I've wrote a little list actually of positives about apprenticeships from my point of view, that and I'll go through that now. So I gained valuable hands-on experience in an industry that interests me. I knew I wanted to be an electrical engineer. Well, I thought I knew I wanted to be an electrical engineer when I was going to do the university route, but then thankfully I decided that civil engineering is actually what I much prefer doing. And working with the company to experience both sides helped me make that decision, and I'm very glad that I had the chance to do that. I had the chance to earn money whilst completing my formal education, and my degree is actually sponsored by my employer, which I feel very lucky about. So I come out of the degree, which I should hopefully be graduating this year, touch wood, without any debt. So that's a massive positive against my friends that are coming out into a very competitive job market at the moment with huge debt. And I think another massive thing that I really enjoyed doing is the opportunities to travel and work abroad. One of the places I've worked in is in Sweden for a few weeks, and obviously everything's paid for there, but then you get to experience their culture, their way of life, and their way of working. So it does really open your eyes. I've also been to Scotland a few times on projects. So the company does want you to experience as much of it and make your decision as informed as possibly can be. The one negative I'd find by an apprenticeship is the university experience that all my friends seem to always mention after completing their degrees. They always say, well, you didn't get the university experience, but at the end of the day, what I found is you can just go see them on the weekend anyway and go out there, and you have the money to buy drinks. So it's I think it's a win-win really. I think that's all from me now. If there's any questions.
Okay, that's great. Well, if I'll give you a little bit of a rest, Jan, and go back to Matthew. Matthew, you obviously started in the same company that you're in still today as an apprentice, and you are now a production manager, and the company look after you very well. Good company to work for. But how long did it actually take you to do that journey? How many years?
Well, yeah, I started work when I left school after my GCSEs. So that was when I was 16, and I'm now 48 in this month. So it's obviously taken 30 years. Well, I mean, you've got to look. Opportunities present themselves at different times, don't they? So a lot of opportunities, it's the right place at the right time. But you've got to get your skill. You've got to get your skill level built up first, and you've also got to learn how to deal with people. That's one of the big benefits, I think, of apprenticeships. You're not, like Jan mentioned about university. With apprenticeship, you're dealing with people straight away. So you're learning those skills rather than in a university setting where you probably focus more around the learning aspect of it, the educational aspect of it. In the apprenticeships, you're dealing a lot more with the people aspect, which is just as important, if not more, because you've got to learn how to deal with people, especially when you get to the management stage, because that's the majority of work that you're going to do. I got to be a production manager about 10 years ago, 10 years ago. So it took about 20 years to get to that point. But that doesn't mean because there's layers to the career path. So you don't just go straight from an apprentice to a production manager, obviously. So you have different layers, and you just keep climbing up and up and up and see how far you can go, basically.
Excellent. So you say at the moment you have 6 apprentices on site. What disciplines are they in? Are they all the same, or is it different?
Well, we have when we're producing leaflets, we have the printing side and we have the finishing side. I mean, printing is a massive industry that there's got so many segments to it. But at the moment, in my department, we have 3 guys who are doing leaflet printing, and we have 2 guys who are doing leaflet finishing, which is converting the printed reels or the printed sheets into the finished article, which goes to the customer, so the bits that's wrapped around the tablets. And we've also at the moment got an apprentice who works in the Mac room and does the repro side. So when the artwork comes in to us from our customers, they then convert that file into something that we can use to print. And then again, that goes to the finished customer. So there's so many segments. If you just think of printing and packaging to be somebody with a greasy spanner and tightening nuts and bolts, it's not like that at all anymore. Things have moved on so much that, in terms of the digital aspects of it, that there's quite a lot of career paths to go to in the packaging industry.
Okay, thank you. And will your company continue to offer apprenticeships?
I'd say so, yeah, and I'd like to think so. I think with the current crop of apprentices that we got in last year, we're very happy with. So at the moment, it's been a really shining reflection on the education system, really, and what sort of skills they've already got before they get to us. So they've already got massive education history. We're just now trying to push that, specify that into a more specified role, and try and help them as people as well. Try and deal with the people aspect. So yeah, I'd say we're trying to get some more in when needs arise.
Okay, right. I've got one question just now for you, Jan, and then the other questions I think will be for both of you, so you can either both answer or pass it over to the other if you can't answer it. But you, Jan, you managed to persuade your company that to allow you to do the degree that you wanted to do. So that's quite impressive for somebody of a young age. Were you always confident, or was confidence something that you built up by working and getting to know the people within the team?
For me, I think confidence has definitely increases massively through experience. I was quite a confident guy in school, but I think once you actually know what you're talking about at work, your confidence does shoot through the roof. And I think I was working on a project already. What I think what I forgot to mention earlier is what my company does. So Hitachi Power Grids, what we do is we build these converter stations, and they convert AC power into DC power and vice versa. And what the reason for that is we build one on, for example, the coasts of England, and then build one on the coast of Norway, and then we lay a long undersea cable between the two countries, connecting the grids to allow buying and selling all the power between the countries. So my company builds the converter stations, and that's where I'm working at the moment, up in the northeastern Blythe, connecting Norway and Fildal for the two grids. So I was working on the project already, and I was an electrical engineering apprentice, but obviously there's a part of our business that does the actual managing of the construction works, and that aspect really did interest me. So with the help of my project manager and my line manager, I've managed to persuade them to let me go down that route, and it also cut down my degree time, because I think the electrical degree was 6 years part-time, where I've managed to get it down to 4. So
okay, right. So next question then for both of you. So you can both answer if you want. Do you think it's easier to understand what you're being taught in the educational setting when you're actually gaining experience at the same time?
Yeah, I can answer that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing the degree at the same time as I'm learning it all here on site. I think it's a massive improvement to be able to see it all happening in front of you, get the experienced engineers to explain things for you one-on-one, at the same time as you're learning a degree. I think I learn a lot more doing than going to the university.
Yeah. And do you want to put anything into that, Matthew, or will I just give you the next?
Yeah, I think Jan's spot on there. I mean, if you are doing your coursework, a lot of the time you can then transfer what you've learned straight away into the production environment. So if you're learning about certain aspects of print or publishing, and you've absorbed that from your tutor, you can then straight away go and put that into practice. So yeah, I agree with what Jan said there.
Okay, so did you feel, I mean, Jan's talked a little bit about he feels he's missed out with his friends going to university and having a university life. Did you feel like studying and working was harder than if you just took one of the routes? Do you feel that you missed out?
No, I don't really, because Jan mentioned obviously the money side of it. While you're doing an apprenticeship, you're getting paid. So what you've got then on the weekend, you've got that disposable income, so you can go visit your friends who are at university. So no, I don't think you miss out. I think it's just different. It's a different way of approaching the goal, which is full-time education and a job. So for me, no, it wasn't a problem. If you have a lot of hobbies, you've got to find a way for paying for those, and obviously the apprenticeship enables you to do that.
Excellent. And Jan, I know you said it, but I don't think you really meant it. So I'm assuming it probably is hard work trying to do both at once, but is it worth it in the end?
Oh, I definitely think it's really worth doing both at the same time, because it is hard work, especially, well, I do site hours, so they're quite long as it is. So getting the university done as well sometimes can be challenging, but because the degree itself is spread out a bit more, it's a bit less intense to trying to get all the coursework in at the same time, so you can actually process it better, I think, and it stays in your memory a lot longer than when you have to cram everything in for university in a shorter period of time.
Okay, and Jan, you also talked about that you kind of stumbled across the apprenticeship really through a friend of the family, and you had considered going to do a degree. Matthew, did you explore any other career paths before you went down the apprenticeship route?
No, not really, because I wouldn't say that I was that academic at the time. So school wasn't really working for me. I just had ambition to get out and start working, which was probably the main driver why I decided on an apprenticeship. I wanted to get out into the working world. Really, it was slightly different in the 80s. It was a slightly different world, so the further education wasn't as easily accessible as probably what it is now. But yeah, from the moment I was leaving school, I was always wanting to get into the working environment and do an apprenticeship.
Good. And Matthew, we've heard about the apprenticeship opportunities that will be available in the future within your company. Jan, I'm assuming Hitachi will have a programme ongoing as well. Do you want to chat us through some of the things that they would offer?
Yeah, sure. So when I was taken on as apprentice, I think we only took on 4 that year, which it's quite a big company, Hitachi. But every year since, there's been an intake of apprentices, and there's been apprenticeships in health and safety, in finance, engineering. There's even one in marketing at the moment. So I think there's a wide variety. So I would invite people to just have a look on. I think they must be on the website on careers to see what apprenticeships are going. I'm not sure if there is one starting this year, but if not, there most definitely will be one going the year after. And even if what I find with my company is that they are very willing and wanting you to do what you feel like your interest is. So even if it does change, they will work with you to see where you'd fit in more. So there's rotations around different departments that you do for 6 months to have a quick taste to what everyone does, and then you can move down that direction more focused on that way. I think we had a health and safety apprentice a couple of years ago, and she's actually moved into the finance role now because that's what she could see herself doing.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, I was just wanting to run through again what the value apprenticeships can bring to people, but Hitachi sound really, really flexible because they were flexible on your course. Are they flexible on the educational establishment you go to as well, or is that kind of set?
So the college we go to, I think that's set because that's the local college. So that's where through the apprenticeship framework is with. So that's usually where the courses are done because it's close by. But for the university itself, my line manager, my project manager, actually encouraged me to do it, to independently go out and see what I could do, where I could go that would be reasonable distance as well as a reasonable day release. So it wouldn't obviously I wouldn't be going full time. So to make it feasible. So yeah, I had the flexibility to choose where I'm studying for my engineering degree.
That's really good. So again, just both of you recap top 3 advantages of going down the apprenticeship routes. So Jan, you're on. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So one massive one for me is job security and experience. After you finish your apprenticeship, for me, for the 4-year one, you've already got 4 years of industry experience. So you're a lot more employable if you did want to change jobs at some point. I think I've got a lot of friends coming out of university now, and they are struggling to find jobs in their industry. So I think that's one bonus. I think that obviously a chance to earn money is another one, especially at a younger age. I think even the smaller wages of apprenticeship that some apprenticeships are, you're still living at home a lot of the time. So it's just money in your back pocket that you can spend or save. And the last one, the opportunities I had to work in different places and abroad, I think.
Perfect. Okay, Matthew, over to you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good points is that you're earning money while you're learning. So even you're still doing your courses and your BTECs and your diplomas and whatever the course may be, and at that time you're still earning some money, so you can still enjoy yourself. I think a lot of it is the dealing with people side of it from an apprenticeship as well. I think that is very important. So you're not only learning facts and figures, you're actually learning how to deal with people. There's a wide range age range of people who are in the workplace, especially here. So you're dealing with a lot of different people and characters. So that makes a big difference. And yeah, you get supported by your employer. So Accenture will support anybody who wants to better themselves. So if there's a particular exam you want to do, or if there's a particular career path you want to follow, then that's encouraged, and that and financially helps as well. So there's a benefit for the apprenticeship in terms of who you work for and how they will back you.
Okay, thank you both very much for your time today and for giving us the insight into apprenticeships. I think it has been a great learning opportunity for everybody that's attended today.